Welcome back, everybody. Oversteer here. In my last video, I covered Lewis and Max's crash and gave my thoughts on the incident, which was one of the wildest parts of the Italian GP. But we can't talk about that race without mentioning Daniel Ricciardo. Starting from second on the grid, took the lead at turn one and held it the whole way through, giving McLaren their first win since 2012 and their first 1-2 since 2010. There are a whole lot of reasons why that win at Monza was so special for Daniel, and it starts with when he joined the team at the start of the year. He didn't have fun in the first half of the season. Going into 2021, when we heard that Daniel was going to get signed to McLaren and be alongside Lando, one of the theories was that between the two of them, Daniel's going to come out on top because, he's an 8-time Grand Prix winner. He's been in a top team. And he was really the only teammate Max had that actually challenged him. So it was a surprise, when the season started and Daniel took very long to find his footing on the team, which is similar to what happened with Renault. When he joined in 2019, his first year, he was plagued by reliability issues, but even when the car was working okay and the engine wasn't giving up on him, he still wasn't doing the best that he could, and he knew that too. Then after the summer break we had this year, not in 2019 or 20, after our summer break, we started to see the real Daniel again. He had a great qualifying while we were in Belgium, finished ahead of Lando in the Dutch GP, and we know what happened in Italy. And what's insane too? This is exactly like what happened at Renault. Wasn't in 2020, not 2019. He wasn't doing great in the first half of the season. If you guys look at the results, you can see. We go into the summer break, come to Spa at the end of the summer break, and then what happens? He finishes in fourth. Lewis, Valtteri, Max, and then him, right there to back them up. And it stayed like that really for the rest of the season. He always drove the hardest he could when the car was working for him. And he got 2 podiums that year, actually. And so obviously his comeback on McLaren is even better than what it was like in Renault. Because, in my opinion, his start of the season was worse than it was on Renault. But after the break, he did even better. Obviously, the guy won the race. And some people might say that Daniel got lucky because Max and Lewis crashed out, and that was really his only competition for the race. I want to rewind with you guys just to the start of the race. Like I said, Daniel started from second. Max was starting from the front. The lights go out. He gets good traction off the line, better than Max, pulls ahead, and you know how he is into the first corner. Last of the late breakers, goes into the first corner, then the second, and just like that, he's in the lead. And it wasn't like Max came back at him after 2 or 3 laps when DRS turns back on. Max could not get ahead. Daniel did incredible driving to hold him off. And it wasn't just Max and the Red Bull that was struggling. Lando held up Lewis for a good part of that race too. So that's the thing. Even if Max and Lewis didn't crash out, everything went well for them. They had good pit stops. Assuming there were no accidents in the pit lane or Daniel's car gave out on him, Daniel had a great chance to win that race. To be honest, I believe he would have won it, whether Max crashed or not. He did an incredible job to hold off the other drivers during that race. And another driver who is worth mentioning is Lando, of course, who helped him get that win. Team orders is something that drivers probably don't like to hear. We all know Valtteri, it's James. Valtteri's been a wingman on Mercedes for Lewis for basically since he signed with the team. When he wants to challenge for wins, they're like, Valtteri, please let Lewis win the race. We need him to win the championship. He's our golden boy. And which is fair. They pay him $50 million a year. I think he's one of the best drivers in the sport right now. It makes sense. But like I said, you can imagine it's not fun for the driver who has to hold back. The fact that Lando was able to recognize that he'll get his chance in the future, he'll get a chance to fight for a win. Just right now, he has to back off, hold off the other cars, and make sure Daniel's able to lead McLaren to get their first win is unbelievable. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I thought Lando was gonna challenge for the win because, like, if I'm Lando and I've been with the team for 3 years, and then Daniel just joins the team, is not doing a good job, and then all of a sudden he's leading the race. I'd be glad that he's doing well, but deep down, I'd be thinking I should be the one going for that win. I don't doubt Lando was thinking about that, but just the fact that he was able to hold it back, realize he has to play the team game right now, was great. We know he'll get his chance in the future. Lando is so consistent right now. A race win is literally around the corner, mark my words. And it's not just the drivers who helped Daniel do this. Zach Brown, Andreas Seidel, the McLaren team bosses, and everyone else at the team have been unbelievable. Drivers are doing the hard work out on track. They're doing some arguably equally as hard work. Taking a car that used to be one of the worst on the grid, 2018, to now hopefully challenging for championships in the future. Right now, it's really the third fastest team. They have worked miracles the past few years to make that car as competitive as it is now within such a small amount of time. I think that's 4 years, 2018 to 2021. It's insane work, and it just shows F1 is a team sport. Daniel, of course, God deserves his win. Lando helped, and the team was able to give him a car that was able to do it. And so now, finally, since Daniel's back to his true form, as I said, we got to return to the question we asked at the start of the season. Now that he can actually, literally challenge at the front, how is he going to compare against Lando? Because that's something that will be really interesting to see. I think it's going to be very close between the two of them. Lando, as we've seen throughout this season, is very quick, qualifying and the race. He's very quick and very consistent. If we forget about the fact that he was taken out of the race in Hungary, he was the only driver to have scored points in every race of the season. And he was in third in the Drivers' Championship. He might actually still be in third. Consistency is key in F1 and honestly any form of racing. But the thing is, Daniel is full of surprises. He's also a quick driver. He's been with a top team. He's now won 8 Grand Prix, and you guys know his trick, the last of the late breakers. And so really that's the only difference between them. Lando has the consistency, but Daniel has the experience. Lando can deliver race in, race out, but Daniel just always has that trick in his back pocket that he can pull out. When we go to Russia this weekend, we'll be able to get our answers. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, hit the like button, consider subscribing, and turn on notifications so that you never miss an upload. I'll see you on the next video. Have a good one.